Are we live?
We're live.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome community members and participants. Thank you for your interest and attendance in the board meeting. It is 4:35. April the 14th. And we are here to conduct a work session, board meeting, the Shiprock boardroom. Time is, I keep this thing up, 4:36.
Yeah.
Well, the mask mandate has been lifted by the governor of the state of New Mexico. Because this meeting is taking place within the Navajo Nation, the board is complying with the more restrictive provisions of the Navajo Nation health order. As a result, the district will continue to conduct its meetings held on the Navajo Nation consistent with the practices it has been using during COVID. So as to comply with the social distancing orders, this event will only be available to the public via live stream on the district's YouTube channel at the link listed on the agenda. This meeting is closed to in-person public participation. Have a roll call. Mr. Montoya?
Sure.
Ms. George?
Here.
I don't see anybody else up there. Is there anybody else up there?
See.
Myself, that makes a quorum. Okay. We'll start with a Newcomb High School Educators Rising School Educators Rising Education by Sandra Lunt Hill. Sandra? Is she over there?
Yeah, she's right on top.
Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm here in my classroom right now, and I have my two students here with me, Maria and Trinil. And these students won first place in the state competition. So we are getting ready to go to the national competition in Washington, D.C. This summer. And we just wanted to bring this to you for your approval. Let me get this really quickly. So we have all of our funding in place. We have funding that we have earned from fundraisers, and we have funding from JOM. We went to the meeting, the ICO meeting, and requested funding. And we also have funding from Title I and Title II. So we have all of our money that we need for this trip, and I believe that you have the travel request already. So I just want to say that I'm really proud of my two students who won first place. They did qualify to go to nationals in Washington, D.C. And not only that, but the state is paying for their registration to the conference because they pay for the first place winners.
Excellent. And how many are you taking?
Just two. I took 12 to the state conference. These are the future teachers. That's the Educators Rising program. And two placed in their competition, in the state competition. And so that qualifies them to go to nationals.
Excellent. Congratulate them for their accomplishments.
Yes, I will. And they are here. They are listening to the meeting right now.
Can you ask Ms. Gray to put up the itinerary?
Share screen. Or?
To put up the
Itinerary.
Ms. Ray?
Board President Wells, we're on number 2, which is the student, staff, and community recognition. And Miss Sandra Lunt Hill was supposed to do that educator rising recognition.
Oh, okay. So
Miss Sandra?
yes, I wasn't aware that I was doing this today because the last email I got, I thought I was just we were just requesting for funding. But I'm prepared. Can I share my screen?
Miss Sandra, can you adjust your camera?
Yes.
I can see the top of your head and the top of the closet up there.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so I could do a presentation right now. I just didn't realize this was the meeting for the presentation. I thought this was the meeting to request funding for nationals. So, but I could, am I able to share my screen?
I have to get rid of
This,
share
Sharon.
screen.
Sharon, can you, Miss Ray, can you share that screen?
Okay.
Okay, so let me
Ms.
just,
Barnhill, can I request one thing real quick?
sure.
Just for our meeting's sake, when you finish, just before you might be excited and getting ready to sign off, but before you sign off, could you make sure you give the host back to Sharon Ray?
Okay, I will do that.
Thank you. That's
It makes it simpler at our end.
very.
That's a really good idea.
Okay, are you able to share? Oh, wait, I have to do something before we can get on this, right? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so yes, I can definitely do that. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the Educators Rising program at Newcomb High School. And this is just what this presentation will go over. This is our introduction to the Newcomb High School chapter. And then our travel request, that's what I just did. So I don't know, we don't have to do too much with that. And explanation of funding for the Rising national trip to Washington, D.C. Okay, so our Educators Rising chapter, and it's considered a chapter. If you go on the state website, you'll see we have a Newcomb High School chapter, and we've had this since 2017 to 2018. And that was the year that I came to Newcomb High School. So it consists of the following. It consists of vocational classes. We have an Educators Rising Club, and we have an internship program at our school. We also have future educators participating in the district's equity team. I was contacted this year. They asked me to recommend 2 of my students because they know that Educators Rising students are leaders. So when I was at Deming High School back in the day, in 2015, I volunteered, which I often do, maybe too much. And I volunteered to check out this new program in the state of New Mexico. And I met Karen Trujillo, who was with us then, and she was starting the Educators Rising program, which took the place of the Future Teachers of America program. And so I started right from the beginning, right when this program started in our state. And I started a program at Deming High School. When I left, we had 40 students in the program. And sorry, I guess I need to adjust my camera again. And then I came here because the principal at that time recruited me after meeting me at an Educators Rising conference. Recruited me so that I could start a Future Teachers program here. So this year we had 15 students in the club. 12 of them were able to make it to the state conference. We went to the state conference, and all of the students had to prepare competitions. They prepared competitions in different categories, and they had to go before judges. These judges are usually university professors who are teaching education classes. They had to present in different categories. For instance, some of them presented in exploring educational careers. They had shadowed a teacher and talked to the teacher about their profession. And then they created a presentation to bring to the state conference. The category that we won in is a category called Inside Our Schools. And the students made a short video. They only have 5 minutes to showcase something that's going on inside their schools that is positive. And our 2 students who did this, Trinil McCabe and Maria Amoto, as I said, they're here with me right now. They created a really good presentation surrounding their video that they made that they had to submit prior to the competition. And like I said, they won first place. Out of all the entries, they won first place in state. So if you place it all in the state competition, then you qualify for the national competition. These were our only 2 who placed this year. We've had other people place in previous years. So that's why I'm only taking 2 with me to nationals. And that's just kind of been the rule of Educators Rising and our district for a while, as far as I understand.
Okay,
Okay, and then, like I said, we have found different ways of funding our trip, so it is all funded. We do need your approval because something I heard was that at ICO, they're kind of waiting to buy the plane tickets so that, because they have to get your approval first. So we kind of get into that little thing. And so as soon as you can give your approval, they can buy the plane tickets, which would be really good because the prices for plane tickets have been going up. So the sooner we can get them, the better. Okay, but we do have everything funded. Okay, and then these are just some pictures of our Ed Rising in the past when we go to state conference. And the students dress up for their competitions because they want to show their best when they're presenting. And many of the students will introduce themselves by their clans, and they dress in traditional clothing to show their pride in their heritage. And this is from a previous year. One of my students won in the category of children's book. And she had a book with Navajo words and English words. And then this other student on the side over here won first place for research challenge. So that's just a little bit about our program. And let me go back here real quick. For our Educators Rising team, I also wanted to show you this article that you could find on the school webpage. Mr. Noble did a really good job with it. And you could see our students at the conference. They had a photo booth, and we took pictures at the photo booth, and that was one of them. And then here's our whole group together. When they were at the conference, they went to workshops and different events. So they got a lot of information about becoming teachers, and they also were able to network with other students in the state who want to become teachers. And this opportunity, Maria and Trinil will have on a national level when they go to Washington, D.C. They'll be able to network with students who want to become teachers all across the country. And they'll be going to workshops and speaking events, as well as competing. Okay, so I will just ask if anybody has any questions, and I can give the screen back.
when does this take place?
The national conference takes place June 23rd through the 28th.
May I have the host back so I can let one of the board members in, please? Thank you.
Sandra, I can actually do it here.
Were there any other questions?
Are there any questions from the board?
Mr. President.
Yes.
Ms. Hill,
Yes.
in regards to the just recently passed legislation for New Mexico residency, just as a consideration, and I don't know if it can be or can't, but something to think about with the dual credit program and with some of these students being able to receive an associate's degree, could that program be tied to the New Mexico residency program?
Yes, it possibly could be. We are in the process of trying to develop a vocational pathway. So,
Okay. Obviously, that's something that we can certainly explore with the superintendent, because I think that would be really good, especially now with the way that it's set up to an apprenticeship program. If they already have classes and credits, if they can work towards that while working within the community. And that's one of the things I'm doing some research on in respects to teacher efficacy and building that from within the community. But the other is to say to the two students, you're the shining example of why we have the program, especially again in these very rural areas. And this is truly an opportunity to present it as a grow your own, coming right out of the high schools, and that's perfect. So it's a shining example of what can be done. And I was very fortunate last Friday to work with some students down in Albuquerque during the New Mexico Association of Bilingual Educators to a program through New Mexico Highlands, and they were high school students. And what you're doing with your students and the other programs across the state of New Mexico and the motivation with some of these high school students, it really gives me a lot of inspiration and hope that we've got a lot of good leaders coming up. So I appreciate everything that they're doing. Congratulations and good luck.
okay, let me move my camera over here and you guys can say hello. If I can. Can you? Oh, I don't know if you can see them. Sorry, this is just my little camera. I don't know. Maybe you guys could come over here and say hello. They're here in my classroom right now. They're working on something. You guys want to come over here and say hello? No? Okay.
Are they camera shy?
Okay. So, sorry.
guys wanna
I'm
go
very with this little camera. It's kind of a different little camera. Okay, here they are. Here's Trinil and Maria, and they created the film. And the film is also on our district webpage if you want to see it. It's called Our Culture is Relevant.
Very good. Congratulations to you, girls.
Congratulations.
It's a great honor to win something and be able to go represent your school and your community at national competition. You're to be commended.
Congratulations, and thank you for taking pride in your heritage and your culture, and kudos to your parents and your grandparents and, you know, your teacher and your school. Congratulations. Super proud of you girls.
Great job. Remember, when you finish with your education, we do have openings here at CCSD.
Yes, come back and teach.
That's why I said what I said about the residency program. Grow and you keep it.
Yeah, we need them. And they would both be great teachers. So I really hope they do come back here and teach.
All the way. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
That concludes our presentation. And hopefully you will approve this trip.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank
We'll be
you.
in touch.
Thank you.
Mr. Wells, I have a
Yes.
question for the interim superintendent.
Okay.
Mr. Carlson, will the financial process, because it closes, like it closed this month already, or I don't know, but and it doesn't open back up until July 1st, are they gonna be able to process? them?
Absolutely. We have extensions for those kind of things.
Okay, great.
So, and I'm pretty sure that one was sent.
Okay.
And if not, we'll make sure, because that's an awesome trip.
All right.
And hopefully, I don't know, I don't see the agenda, but I imagine you're probably on the board agenda for Tuesday to actually get the approval.
Okay, I thought this was the meeting for us to get that approval, right?
She's on A, is that A?
No, you're
Oh.
Yeah.
presenting at this meeting, the approval comes the next one.
Oh, the approval comes the next
It's
one.
actually-
Okay.
Yes.
It's 4A2.
Yeah, 4A, it's on there.
It's what?
It's on 4A.
It's under reports.
Yes, your approval will be at the regular school board meeting on Tuesday next week on the 19th.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is recognition. It's Cindy up there, Miss Theodore.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay,
Okay. Good afternoon, board members, board president, members of the board, superintendent. This is a very special recognition that we would like to do to one of our own drivers. And I was contacted by New Mexico State Police and for the recognition. So I will go ahead and have him go ahead and talk about I'll go ahead and turn it over to him and have him talk about it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us here today. For anyone who isn't aware of why I'm here, we're here to recognize Miss Kay Hamlin today. For a little bit of background information, a couple weeks ago, my partner and I, Officer Gallegos, we were on US 550 between Bloomfield and DZ. We encountered a wrong way driver on US 550. When we attempted to stop the vehicle, the driver fled in his vehicle. He started driving on the right side of the road for a little while. He continued south on 550 for about 20 miles when he decided he wanted to cross back over into the northbound lanes while he was driving southbound. He passed by one vehicle and almost hit it head on. And then I saw a school bus coming, and whenever I saw the school bus coming, my heart dropped because he was driving right towards it, well, almost with intent to drive right towards the school bus. And thankfully, Ms. Hamlin here was the driver of that school bus, and her swift reaction saved the 7 children who were on that bus, the golf teams from Kirtland Central High School, and their coaches. So I want to thank her for that. And if anyone who hasn't seen it, you can go to the Mexico State Police Facebook page, and they got a couple clips from the event that show Ms. Hamlin helping them. So thank you so much.
Three, two, one. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
well, I've known this couple for lots of years, and Hammond, congratulations to you. Well done.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if I may. As well, I've known her husband for a very long time as well too. And I just truly appreciate the fact that we have employees, bus drivers, especially caring for our kids in the manner that you did, and your attentiveness to safety and keeping them safe and the well-being. And so with that, again, that's the most important thing we can do in job one. So I truly appreciate the fact that you were able to do that and looked out for their safety. So thank you.
Any other comments? Go ahead, yes.
Ms. Hamlin, thank you so much. I always say, and Ms.
Theodore, thank you for your department and all the bus drivers, especially what you did. This is my first time actually seeing and meeting you, but I'm pretty sure you drove my daughter several years late at night to her practices and brought her home safely to me. And you guys always bring our students home safe to us. We put them on the bus with you and their coaches, and you bring them right back. Rain, snow, sleet, whatever. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And thank you for your service and being out there in that remote area. You know, I'm glad you were there and able to intervene with your partner and in that remote area. And just thank you for your service, and thank you for recognizing our bus drivers and the students. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
May I have one last word?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to just give a shout out to my bus drivers. I mean, they are awesome, and we go through very extensive training every year. I mean, we're required to do 16, but we probably do double that amount of training. So the drivers are awesome, and they care about the kids, and they want to be safe, and they're safe all the time. Thank you.
Well, obviously the training pays off, so we thank you and Ms. Kay. Recognize your devotion and care and ethics and hard work. So congratulations to you.
Yes, thank you. I don't know if you saw that, Ms. McNellis Martinez had a little item on the chat. They've been heroes all pandemic long, which is absolutely true. So thanks for that too. Thank you all.
Oh yeah, I think somebody has their hand up, or yes, someone's their hand up.
Who is it? Who has their hand up?
It's, I don't see the name. Is it? Maybe I'm got it wrong.
Maybe that's just the part of the screen.
Okay.
So is this the meeting where I get approval for bus drivers to get raises? Or is that Tuesday as well?
No, I think we did that last year.
Yeah, they
But
need a new
certainly you
one.
can go down and see the governor for special stipend, officer. And thank you for not accosting me as I came into the room, so I appreciate that.
All right, you're gonna get out of your guys' way.
We appreciate you. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Working on it.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you too.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The next item is, we have no comments at this time from the audience. So we received a unique trip request from Newcomb High School. The next one is from Kirtland Central High School, FCCLA Leadership Conference in San Diego, California on June the 28th. And to July the 4th. By Ms. Vanessa Hurley.
Hello. My name is Vanessa Hurley, and I am new to the district. I am the advisor for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. We had 4 students place first place at the State Leadership Conference in Albuquerque. And we're here to ask permission for the trip and also funding for the trip. And I have some good news. I did some calculating, and it's not going to be quite the 36,000. It's going to be more around 20,000. I just overestimated just in case. I was worried about flights going up in price, but they've stayed pretty much the same since I requested that. And so during the week at the National Leadership Conference, the students will have opportunities to go to workshops about leaderships, scholarships. They'll actually teach the students how to fill out the scholarships, the formula that there is to those scholarships. They will teach the students interview skills, money management, public speaking, and this also gives them a little leg up on when they're seniors and applying for those FCCLA scholarships. With this experience, it gives them a little more, people on the scholarship board are more willing to pick students who have advanced and competed at the national conference. And so I did have a mistype on my pre-approval form. I am going to actually need another chaperone because the students all compete at different times, and I don't want any of our students by themselves. The FCCLA is requiring that we have an adult and student judge, and so I don't want to leave these kiddos by themselves anywhere in San Diego. But if you have a little bit, I would like, the students are behind me, and I would like each of them to tell you a little bit, just real shortly, about their contest that they competed in and were able to advance to nationals.
Absolutely. Would you introduce them to us?
Oh, yes. So first we're going to have Charity So, and then we will have Michelle and Hope Chapman, and then Haley West, and then Madison Medley. But first up is Charity So.
Hi, so my name is Charity So. I go to school here at Kirtland Central High School, and this year I competed in chapter interview. It's basically just like a summary of what our chapter has done throughout the year. So we've done like membership drives. We've done a lot of stuff like getting to know our members. In the beginning of the school year, we had only 12 members, and we wanted to add more members to be an effective FCCLA chapter. So by doing that, we've done, like I said, membership drives, and we've done stuff for the school. And so now we're up to 36 members. And we handled the finances and fundraisings by doing a dance and not hosting, selling snacks at concessions. That's how we've handled our fundraisings. And
next we have Michelle and Hope. Michelle Henderson and Hope Chapman.
My name is Michelle Henderson. And our project we competed in the professional presentation category. And our project was titled COVID-19's Impact on the Food Industry.
We informed others on the impact COVID-19 has had on our food industry and the way we get our food.
This is the project has impacted the students here, not only FCCLA members, but also just Kirtland Central students in our community by we advocated for them to get their food handlers because of it's very important now because of COVID, and it's important to stop the spread of COVID through food and cooking in the kitchen.
So through our presentation, we informed others with the impact COVID-19 has had on the food industry, and we placed first at the state conference.
And next we have Haley West, who is going to be our student helper and judge. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Haley West. I competed in entrepreneurship where I learned skills on how to create a business and the leadership skills that go into that. What we would benefit from going to nationals by learning more leadership skills and learning how to get along with peers and the stuff it goes to be a team. We've learned leadership skills, public speaking, job skills that we need in the future. And FCCLA helps us in our future careers by helping us with team bonding and team work strategies and how to be able to work with a group effectively and be able to get the job done.
And next and last, we have Madison Medley. Yes.
Hello, I'm Madison Medley from Kirtland Central High School, and I competed in repurpose and redesign. In my competition, I had to gather recyclable items, which were soda tabs and grocery bags, to make a reusable item for people. I used the grocery bags that I cut into strips to crochet the soda tabs together in a very sturdy way so that people can use this bag anytime they need it. So, and in the competition, I placed first place.
I've seen them blown around the country.
Oh. Thank you.
Okay, and so those are the students that placed first and have qualified for nationals. And so we're here again requesting help to finance this trip and permission to take the trip.
How much financing are you needing to complete your?
We are needing the 20,000 to fund the trip.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
We have submitted some paperwork. Like I said, I am new this year, and so we have submitted paperwork to the JOM to request help with the funding. And we have not heard back from them, and I followed up with an email, and so hopefully we'll hear back this week. But as of now, it's the 20,000 that we are needing help with. We do have a fundraiser planned. I thought I had requested to get it put on here to get permission to do it, but I don't guess it made it. But we are planning on doing a fundraiser in May.
And what will that entail?
Oh, okay. So we will be doing a fundraiser for the seniors on graduation day and cooking the meals for them, and they will buy the meals from FCCLA. So we're anticipating to make 1,000 from that. And if we opened it up, if we needed more money, we could open it up to the community as well to raise more funds.
Have you considered grants from different sponsors?
Grants from different sponsors. Are we allowed to ask for? I didn't know what the rules were on that with the district.
Well, I couldn't tell you what they are, but I am pretty sure that you can apply.
Okay.
I don't know what grants are out there that would apply to your situation, but
Oh, okay. When I was hired, they told us we weren't allowed to write grants or apply for grants without permission. So would I need to get on the agenda again to be able to do that, or can I just do that, or who do I need to contact to get permission for that?
So unless somebody out there has other information,
I think that's supposed to be on there. Oh, no, this is Kirtland.
Okay, yeah, you would have to go ahead and get on the board meeting again to apply for the grant.
Okay. And when is the next board meeting?
next Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
Is there anything else,
Yeah,
Mr. Montoya?
again, just as with the other group, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for the students for being very ambitious and motivated to do what you do. I truly appreciate that. Again, as I mentioned, just like with those students down in Bernalillo, it was very impressive. We had students from around the Albuquerque area that we were working with, and it would be really nice to see that program spread out up here. And again, it gives me comfort to know that you guys are doing a very good job and motivated to truly not just help yourselves, but your communities. And to the young lady who made the bag, if you ever get a chance to go to SeaWorld, I don't know if they're open or not, but they've done that kind of artwork, full-blown artwork with trash that they pulled out of the ocean. It is very impressive. So that's why I really liked what you did. That's nice. That shows initiative. So you might want to look it up. I think they still might have it on their website, but it is very impressive. So just to give you some more ideas and thoughts for what you can do with that. Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening to our request, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
too.
Yeah.
One more comment, hang on.
To Charity, Michelle, Hope, and Haley and Madison, thank you so much for your presentation. Super proud of you ladies, and it's awesome to see young ladies in leadership. Keep those qualities and keep pursuing and being thinking outside the box and representing us down here in Kirtland and CCSD. And Madison, to your bag, maybe you could start selling them. There's I have a lot of bags in my house under the cabinet. I can or maybe I'll
Come
buy.
over. We can have her make some more.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you. Good job.
Okay, thank you very much.
Did you want to? Oh.
Good job, Kirtland Central.
Thank you.
Do that like you started there, you know.
That was very good. So there's nobody else. There's not a second page.
There might be a second page, but
I just wanted to see if there was another board member that we're missing.
Oh yeah, because Sharon said that she's trying to get somebody on.
I don't want them to look out.
I'm sorry, board president, members of the board, I see Vice President Haskey is on the meeting too.
Vice President Haskey, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Glad you make it. 5:20. Next item is NIEA report from Tammy Yazzie. Are you here, Tammy?
Yes, I am, board president. Okay, checking my video. Hi. Sorry, we're doing parent or student-led conferences today, so if I'm a little distracted, it's because I'm watching the door. Hi, my name is Tammy Yazzie, and I am a 5th grade teacher at Judy Nelson Elementary School, and I've been very fortunate to be able to attend the NIEA events for our district to represent. And I realized that we just had the Hill Day this past March, and usually it's in February, but this time they had it in March. And that's kind of the primary focus for that. And I'm not sure exactly what you guys are wanting, but I'm just going to kind of go over like what I did throughout the time I was there. I was there from March 14th through the 17th. And I was funded through the union, the teachers union, CCEA, to attend. They paid for my trip fully. However, I, of course, am there as a representative for our district and as a teacher and for our students, because that's like the number one focus of our of the work that we do there on the Hill is to advocate for our students. So one of the things that I always stressed when I was in attendance for these conferences they don't really have a strong emphasis on Indigenous students that attend public schools. They're all, most of the people that they have attending the meetings are for leadership people that are a part of the BIE or, the BIE schools. So we kind of bring in a different angle of what we could do to provide support for our students. And it's kind of interesting to kind of look at the numbers of how these are allocated and how the bills are created and what other schools are experiencing. So that was something that I learned. I learned a whole lot about JOM funding. So they have different types of things that, really benefit me as a teacher. And I know that, the district does their part, but this is like a whole separate bit of information that I don't really get from the district. So it was really nice to kind of see what other ways that we can utilize funds and what type of funding comes in and how those funds are used in different schools. And one of the biggest things that they also looked at was looking at community stakeholders. So that's another thing that we kind of want to continue to do. And I know in New Mexico, the biggest push is to look at community schools, and being in Indigenous communities, this is very strong. So it's kind of seems like it would be a given that we should be looking at creating community schools for Indigenous communities. So that was kind of one of the things that they talked about, and how we could look at bringing in partners from the community to help within our schools. And I know we had 2 other members from the district attend. I didn't really see them a whole lot, except for the visits that we did. And mainly because I didn't know they were there. So, and it was Mia and can't remember the other gentleman's name, but they were there, but I didn't really cross paths with them a whole lot. And they kind of went over reports of how the funding affects our Indigenous students. And of course, the biggest thing that the educators shared was the mental health. That's like the biggest thing that a lot of us are looking at, is the mental health of our students and how can we support them. Being a partner with NIEA, they have a lot of different resources that we can have for our students. One of them, of course, is the student-centered digital learning activities. So they partnered with another group called Illuminative, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. And if not, they have a lot of information there on the NIEA website. And they do have lesson plans, and they do have different things that they offer there. But one thing that I did get from attending the NIEA conference in Omaha in the fall was I was able to attend different tracks. It's a whole separate thing. But what I learned from there too is they have a whole bank of lesson plans that you can look at. And it's been really beneficial for me, but it's just taking the time to actually review what I could use in my classroom. But they have different options. You could look at grade level. You could look at where you want to place your, what area of instruction are you looking at doing? Is it something in the arts? Is it something in English or math or whatever? And you can kind of go in there and play with it a little bit and look at what types of lessons they have available for you. But it was really interesting. And of course, there's so much that they offer for free, but then there's parts that you do have to pay for. But it was just kind of neat to go in there and kind of see what they do have to offer. And I have been working with Cassie Wise, who's the education specialist there at the NIEA. And we've been working together, and we are kind of looking at because when I had first gone to my very first convention with NIEA, I went there to do some like CEs to get some continuing education. And I went to a session that she had done, and it was phenomenal. And one of the things that I got from her was just looking at different types of ways that we could push literature into our lessons. And it wasn't necessarily all Indigenous like authors. It was just kind of looking at different things that kids would have an interest in, and then taking it from there. And I told her one of the areas that I know my students struggle with is poetry, because it's just so difficult for them to really understand what it means. So we went in there, and she provided us with some resources. And my kids, I did do it when I came back that first year that I went to convention. And my students were really, I took some of the poems that they had done, and they were really interested, and they were engaged. And it was just because she had these great resources that I probably never would have found on my own. And, she just kind of showed us like this is what you could do with it. And I found that to be very beneficial for myself too. So, being able to attend these as a teacher for our district has been so helpful for me. It's helped me grow in my craft, and it's helped me become, I think, a little bit more in tune with what I could do for my students as far as implementing these strategies that would help our Indigenous students and all students at our schools. Another thing that we talked about there too was just how to go. So what happens at Hill Day is we have 2 days mainly focusing on looking at policies and different types of ways that we could talk about speaking with our Congress people about what it is that we want from them. And so I went there with another group of individuals. There was, of course, Navajo Prep was there, and I was there with 2 other CCSD people there. And some of their board members were there for Navajo Prep, and we all went in there together. We went to Teresa Fernandez's office, and then we also went to, of course, Ben Ray Lujan's office, and we met with them both. And it was really great. They really wanted to hear from me because I was the only one there that was an educator, someone who was in the classroom. So they really had a stronger interest in meeting with me because everyone else was, admin, and they didn't really want to know what they wanted, what they were wanting. They really wanted to hear from me because I'm inside the classroom. So I thought that was really interesting. So that made me feel like they really wanted to listen to what it is that our needs are on the ground. And that was really great. I was able to kind of articulate some of the things that we're doing in our district and in our school, more specifically our school, because that's kind of where my hone is like what I'm doing in my classroom and what my colleagues are doing in their classrooms. And of course, I know for me specifically, it's like, I really know that our students have a deep interest in the arts and they're just so artistic. So I myself as a teacher have been allowing them to have that extra time to be artistic in the classroom just because I feel like that's really an outlet for them. And it really does help them, especially when we're talking about the mental health that they're having to deal with. I feel like the arts are an outlet for them to kind of express themselves. So are there any questions thus far before I go on? No?
Ms. Jolly,
Yes.
have you shared any of this information that you gained with your colleagues, Judy Nelson?
Not as of yet. It's been a little difficult with the early release schedules because all my early release days are taken with all the extra things that the district has had me do as far as doing the CRT. So a lot of that time is taken. So like even my staff meetings, I have to tell my administrator like, hey, I got to log on to this meeting. So not exactly. I haven't really been able to find the time to go and do that. So and this just happened. So, but I do share with my team, my team of teachers that I have for my PLC group, just because we do meet more often. We meet twice a week. So that, yes. But as far as the entire school, and then I'm also the PACS partner here. So I'm always doing things in that regard. And I'm also working on my admin license. So there's quite a bit going on in my life right now. And then the school, everything else is kind of just all coming together at one time. But no, there definitely will be an opportunity to do so. I know like our administrator pretty much expects that of us. So I'm pretty sure that's coming down the pipe here pretty soon.
All right, just as a consideration, because that's a hope and expectation is that information is shared with as well as possible. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and anything like as far as anything that's offered on the NIEA website is there, and it'd be great to kind of just share the links, because I know like when we go to convention, I know the district sends board members, so I'm pretty sure the board, whoever the board sent, they have access to that as well.
Any other questions or comments?
You have a comment?
Go ahead.
Actually, a couple of comments. In Tammy's defense, that we've had no school the last 2 Fridays, and she went in mid to the end of March. So there really hasn't been an opportunity. And just as she mentioned, Tammy is one of the best sharers of information out there and the most involved teachers that I've had. She's an excellent teacher, and she will make an excellent administrator, hopefully next year. Very soon, we'll see. But anyway, thank you, Tammy, for your report so far.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're right. It just happened in March. It's pretty fast.
There's one more thing.
Okay.
The 2 individuals that she mentioned are part of our ICO department.
Okay.
That would be another way to share. One is Mia, and I don't know the best pronunciation for her name. Is it Quentis?
I think it's Quintus. Yeah, I think that's what she had said. And I can't remember the other guy's name that she
Donovan
was with.
Russell.
Donovan Russell. There you go. I had no idea who they were. I didn't even know the district had sent someone. So it was a complete shocker to see them. And I was like, I felt like an idiot kind of, they're like, oh, you introduced yourselves. And of course I knew Shauna Vicenti, but everyone else I didn't really know. And then they were like, oh, we're from CCSD. I'm like, whoa, I am. And they knew I was from CCSD already. So they were just as shocked as I was. So that was kind of interesting, but I think it was their first time there. So they were just taking it all in.
Okay,
Mr. Wells.
yes.
Thank you, Tammy, for your presentation. And I so look forward to you becoming an administrator. I know you'll do an awesome job. And just thank you for being so outgoing and being there for our students and our staff and just being a volunteer representative for our district. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to the admin for allowing me to go to represent our district. Every time I go there, I learn new things and I meet new contacts. So it's been pretty busy, and it was entirely different this time, of course, because of the way things have changed. But I still got quite a bit out of it. I was very fortunate to have 2 in-person meetings instead of having virtual meetings with my representatives. So it was nice to actually be able to go there and have some good conversations with them. And not only that, but like I said, like to look at what other schools, what their concerns are in our area. So that was really beneficial for me to kind of look at that. And only that, but Shauna Vicenti was phenomenal. As you know, she was with our district too. So she was really getting in there. And when they were asking some of the stats that I don't really know as far as like the district collectively, she was going in there and helping out because she knew exactly what they were asking. So it was nice to kind of have her there as a partner. So, but anyway, are there any other questions at all?
I don't have any questions, but I do have a comment. Is that okay, President Wells?
Yes, go ahead.
I think I thank you for your report and thank you for the information you're sharing. I think this just highlights the need to have teachers, our educators in at these different conferences, these different events, because you're bringing back different things than what the administrators or different departments are bringing back to the table. So I like your perspective and the information that you shared. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Because like, I know when we go there, we have, these different things that we look for. And for me, like when I go, I really tend to go to things that are more math and science based. And so that's usually mainly because I have a strong interest in math and science. So this past time when I went, my emphasis was looking at what the administrators are doing. So that was my primary focus the last time I had gone to convention. So I agree with you. We're looking at different things, and I've learned so much about impact aid, and so I have all these questions, and I'm like, so whenever I see like the budget reports now during the board meetings, I'm like looking at my notes and I'm checking out everything just because it's nice to be, to know like what that all means and what our students should be getting, and it's opening my eyes to a lot of different things. And that's what I really enjoy about going to these different types of conferences and meetings. So again, I just want to thank the board and thank our superintendent, everyone for allowing me to attend. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you going and appreciate that glowing report.
Wonderful. Thank you, board president and board members and superintendent. Thank you.
Item D, request for approval of gifts, donations from the NTUA and Shiprock Chapter House for Shiprock High School by Stacy Gallagher. Stacy.
Good evening, Board President, Interim Superintendent Mr. Carlson, and board members. So this first gift or donation, NTUA contacted our student council and said they'd like to help with the Easter egg hunt that happened yesterday. And our student council sponsor spoke to them. Well, they were going to like put together a purchase order or whatever for them, but instead a check just shows up. So we put that check in holding until it could be approved for use by student council. Student council just went ahead and purchased or got donated from people here in the school, everything for that large Easter egg hunt yesterday. So they are asking permission to go ahead and use this money to reimburse their student council activity account for use in other areas, since they use their own money to buy all the stuff yesterday.
Okay.
I stand for any questions on that.
Are there any
Okay.
questions for
No.
I just have a question. I have one question. How did the event go yesterday?
It went very well. So we were in here for student-led conferences. I stand in my office, you can see out the little window, and we probably had 40, 50 kids and their families out here, and all the Easter eggs all over that front field in front of the school, and they'd have different age groups. And then they'd play music, and they'd start, and they'd go run and pick up all the eggs, and it was really neat. It was neat to see.
That's great to hear. Thank you.
Yes.
yesterday was a cold day to be.
It was a cold day.
Ms. Askey, any comments?
No, I don't have any additional comments. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else on the board?
Just Miss Gallagher, thank you for your student council for hosting that for the community. That's really appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun. It was really neat to see all those little people out there getting to do that big Easter egg hunt, almost like you do like in a big city. So that was pretty cool.
Have one for the adults.
Yeah. And then this next one, the Shipwreck Chapter House would like to donate $1,000 or $10 per person for us to put on a senior barbecue the day before graduation, after our graduation practice.
And that'll take place where do they?
It will take place. So we'll probably barbecue. We will practice out at the field, and so then we would probably barbecue somewhere over here near the school, probably out like by the front lawns or whatever, here at the school for the kids.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's.
Are we all invited?
Yes, you're all invited. Absolutely. Everyone on the board and the directors and the superintendent, everybody would be invited to that.
This is the day before graduation?
This is the day before graduation on the 18th, after they finish practice.
At what time?
I think it will be right after practice. So probably around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I will get an invitation out to you, or I will have the sponsor get an invitation out to you.
Okay.
Invitations to barbecue. And the more I think about it, I imagine it'll be in the parking lot.
Any comments from the board?
I do. I have a comment, President Wells.
Yes, Ms. Askey.
It's wonderful to hear of these events coming up, including your Easter egg hunt and then this barbecue. It's not quite post-COVID or post-pandemic, but it's kind of a ray of light after like a really bad storm. So it's so good to hear of these events starting to happen again. And so I appreciate all the work and effort that everybody's doing. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I look forward to this one for our kids. It'll be a nice thing for them to, be able to kind of be as a class and, carefully and whatever, have a meal together, besides just school lunch. I think it'll be pretty neat.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Montoya? Ms. Short,
No,
any comments? Okay.
just thank you so
All right,
much.
thank
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your time and have a nice evening.
you.
You.
The next item of business, a request for authorization to dispose of property for transportation. Ms. Theodore,
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so we've got two different ones. This one here, the one that's on screen, is we replaced 3 Suburbans this year, and the for student travel. Then we have it used to belong to the previous technology director, and so that vehicle needed to be retired. And we've got a golf cart that's been around for a long time. I think it's been here for 20-something years, and a sweeper for a bobcat. And those just need to be removed. They're sitting in our boneyard right now, what we call it boneyard. They're sitting in our boneyard right now, and we just want to go ahead and dispose of them. Then the other list, there should be another list.
having seen that yard, I think there's probably a lot of things that needs to go.
Yes. Well, the majority of stuff that's in there right now has already been approved. It's just a matter of getting them sold. So. Okay. Is there a second page to this, Sharon?
Yes, if there is, let me get that up for you. I'm sorry.
Okay. That one there is 5 buses that have reached the replacement cycle. So we received the 5 new buses, and these 5 buses that are listed on here are being traded in.
Who is the supplier? Who is the supplier of the new buses?
Roberts Bus Sale from Albuquerque, International Bus Sale. Okay, so we got the buses on there, and then we have a couple more, 4 more, actually 3 more vehicles that are have reached the replacement cycle with 2001 vehicles. So these vehicles are mileage is very high, and also to repair these vehicles, the cost would exceed the value of the vehicle. Then we have at one point we had in each transportation department, we had at each site we had a little Jeep, like a little army Jeep that we used to pull our buses out of the mud. And the only one we have left is this last one here, and it's not working. It's inoperable. So, and fix it would cost more than what it's worth. Okay.
Okay. Any questions from Ms. Haskey? Any questions?
No questions, thank you.
No, it just says, are most of these, are all of them trade-in, or some of them going to be like, I see A1 auto recyclers, or like auction, or no?
Okay, so these vehicles, like I was saying earlier, that while the buses are going to be traded in, now the vehicles are, again, like I said, they're really not worth auctioning. So A1 Recycle usually comes in and gives us a price on what they want to pay for these vehicles to take them for parts.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
How long after authorization will they remove them?
Do we get the approval letter back from the state auditor's office or from the state office?
How long does that take?
Maybe a couple of months.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President Wells, the members of the board, can I make a request?
Yes.
On item F, I have sent out an email with that. It's a very self-explanatory report. And I'm wondering if we can go ahead and shelve that one and just move on to G at this time. Of course, that's your call.
I think we have a board to vote on that, do we not? We can.
I'm sorry, I accidentally pressed mute on your screen. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we can table that, move it to another time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. That was F, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Newcomb Elementary School update by Ms. Candace Thompson.
Good evening, Board President, board members, Interim Superintendent Carlson. At the special board meeting last week, I was asked to provide more information on what the cost would be for the district to incur either 4 additional classrooms or 6 additional classrooms for the Newcomb Elementary School project. Sharon, can you please open the first attachment, which was the original above adequacy? It's option 1, just so I can refresh the board's memory on what we're asking them to approve.
Is that the correct one, Candace?
No, that's option 2.
Okay.
Nope. There you go. Oh, that's
okay. There you go.
Okay. So we broke it down, hopefully, so the board would have a clear picture. At the special board meeting a couple weeks ago, we asked for the original above adequacy funding, which includes the parents as teachers classroom, a STEAM makers space with storage, extended learning and flex space, a larger gymnasium, a separate cafeteria, and stage with storage. So the first sheet shows that initial cost coming in at $8,044,796.25. The board asked that I come back to them with the additions that were asked for. Sharon, can you go to option 2, please? Option 2 also includes the original above adequacy that I just spoke about. Again, the parents, teachers space, the STEAM makers space, the extended learning and flex space, the larger gym, the separate cafeteria, stage with storage, and 4 additional classrooms. That is a cost to the district of $10,752,447.38. So we go to option 3.
Candace, hold on a second.
Yes.
Sarah, too, could the board members see the second page so they can take a look at that? If you could go back, Sharon.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's fine.
I'm looking at my screen thinking they're seeing what I'm seeing on my screen. I apologize, board.
Sorry about that, board. Yeah, go back to option 2. We just would like to show the board members that second page with the actual figures on it.
Ms. Ray, did you get that request?
Board President, I'm sorry, what was that again?
I'll do it again. So Sharon, if you would go back to option 2.
Okay.
And then just go to the second page. Just so
Okay,
the board
okay.
members can see kind of the breakdown, the figures.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the original. Yeah, the original numbers plus the extra. So they can just see the breakdown for just a second. Any questions on that one, anyone? Board President, board members?
No, I had like a pedal before.
Okay, thank you. You can go to option 3, Candace.
Okay, Sharon, if you could go back to option 3, please. So option 3 includes the original option 1 with the 6 additional classrooms. Sharon, if you can go to page 2, please. Which would be a cost to the district. Oops, sorry. Of $12,106,272.38. And with that, board, I stand for any questions that you may have in the proposals that we've shown you tonight.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
question for interim superintendent.
Yes, sir.
Are we in a position to do either that 10 or 12 million?
That's a great question. It's kind of a loaded question. If you don't mind.
It's loaded with about $10 million.
It is. So the very first thing to remember is that all of these proposals are all above adequacy. So it's just how much more above adequacy each of the proposals are. Right now, it seems like we have better funding available than we have had in the past. However, we actually have a meeting. I don't know, Candace, what is the meeting for the middle school and high school?
Board President, board members, Superintendent Carlson, we actually will have next Tuesday the first Ed Spec meeting for the middle school, high school renovation project at 11 o'clock on the 26th. So we are moving forward with that project also.
Okay, and what other projects are we moving forward with in the next couple of years, or slated to move forward with?
The items that are slated, interim superintendent, are TBA is on the horizon. for a complete replacement. Kirtland High School would be the next. We have a smaller project in Kirtland, the Judy Nelson ball fields that we are in design on right now. And also the anticipated extension of the warehouse, which would be funded with ESSER monies.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. So the reason I had Ms. Thompson kind of list those out is because your question is a great one, Board Member Montoya. We right now have been getting impact aid money, which is above and beyond what we have gotten. However, we also stand to lose quite a bit of revenue as the power plants look for possible, maybe more than possible, closure. So a lot of the revenue we would have gotten from the power plants might be replaced by the impact aid, but that would definitely make it so the impact aid money is not as much as we would think. And so we need to kind of know that we have a lot of projects we're thinking about. Most of them would require some of that pool of money from the impact aid. So to answer your question, Mr. Montoya, respectfully, my answer would be, I think we need to be very careful, and the board needs to be very careful with expenses at this time as we stand to lose quite a bit of revenue. As if you look at the ed specs for this particular project, that building we're getting a generous offer from PSFA by building for 227 students when we currently have numbers in the 160s. And I think we need to make sure we take that into consideration, because the longer we wait to move forward, building materials go up. So that's not good for us. But also the PSFA right now is funding 60% while we're funding 40%. That's not including this money. Those numbers stand to change to something more along the lines of 50-50, which brings our numbers up as well. So we're looking at a generous offer to build a school for possibly 40 to 60 more students than we actually might have. And I know there was a hang up before, and I want to talk a little bit about the dual language classrooms. The dual language classrooms are the ones that these 4 and 6 extra classrooms are for. We have, since our last meeting, we've gotten some survey numbers back from the principal at Newcomb Elementary School. Using those survey numbers and the thought that any language revitalization program such as that would have a 90-10 split, we would only be opening up really 2 of those classrooms to begin with, which would be the kindergarten and the first grade classroom. The numbers for those 2 classrooms are very small, according to those surveys. We would eventually open up the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then 6th grade classrooms, but that would be down the road. So right now, construction would be 2024, 2025, or when we would probably move into the school. And so for that year, we would only need 2 classrooms, which we already have 2 extra classrooms. So there is the possibility, however, if the numbers were to go back up, that we could look at some sort of contingency plan at that time to add more classrooms. If the numbers somehow turn around in a direction that are not anticipated by the folks who did the ed spec, the professionals who did that. Does that answer the question, or do I need to go on?
Yes, it does, because it's more predicated off the economic standpoint of the area and the loss of, again, tax revenue directly to the school district, and knowing and understanding that we're still haven't received the full complement of impact aid funding because of the issue, the administrative issue, the impact aid office in DC. And again, from my understanding of what was said in that last time we talked about this, that it's being built, with it being built in line with 227, and the actual student count is nowhere near there. But at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Thompson, certainly at any point in time when that building is constructed, it could be constructed to be ready for an addition for 2. Is that correct?
Board President, Board Member Montoya, yes, sir, you are correct. We are anticipating building this school with, you know, the mindset, if in the future we have to add an addition to it, that we already have that plan and that in place for future construction if that were to arise. If I may, Interim Superintendent Carlson, I need to correct something that you said. Our split for this project with the state will stay a 60-40 until the duration of construction. I went back to PSFA and asked that the high school, middle school be included in our award language so that that split will also be a 60-40. Had I not gone back to PSFA and asked that the high school, middle school be part of this award, that split would be exactly what Mr. Carlson said earlier. It would be more like a 50, I think it was a 52-48. Don't quote me exact on that. I'd have to go back and look, but it's basically a 50-50 split had I not gone back and asked that those two projects be included in this award language. So everything in Newcomb as a whole campus is going to be a 60-40 split.
Mr. Montoya.
Ms. Thompson, I truly appreciate that, your due diligence in ensuring that that happens, because you're talking of a change and shift in cost to the district that could vary anywhere from $3 million to $10 million easy. And that's being conservative, especially when we talk about adding inflation to that. It's at a 40-year high, and there's no telling when it's going to start, as they would call it, being transitory and find its way out of here. But we're nowhere near that at this point in time. So I appreciate the fact that you've done that and able to secure that. But again, the concern, again, to me is that certainly with the way that it's being built, that if in the future the student count went up or the economic circumstances changed in that community or those communities, that it precipitated a growth of community members, families, economic development, where the good thing would be that we would have to add more rooms. That would be great, but certainly at this point in time, we're nowhere near that, correct?
Correct, Mr. Montoya.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Thank you, Ms. Thompson, for the update, and Mr. Carlson. I understand everything that was just said, but with the additional classrooms, out in that, on the reservation, we have families who serve in the military. We have families who work off the reservation. We have families who are homeless and they double up with other family members. We have, in all those scenarios, whatever family that affects, their children come back to live with a family member here on the reservation, a grandparent, an auntie, uncle. So my belief is that we will have the student count for those 6 additional classrooms, especially under that the dual language program. We're using we're using funding, federal funds, which is allocated for these programs. And I really believe that we would have that student count filled as the building is built. And for instance, instead of looking at it, just for example, like here at administration office, there's no room for other departments. So they're always switching from one office to another. We're relocating departments because there's no room. And I don't want to foresee that for the students, and then also for the students not to be doubled up or in count in, where they're overcrowded in a classroom, because that impacts their educational needs. And we're obligated to make sure that every child across the board has their educational rights served, and that they're served appropriately. And then with the COVID, it kind of went down, but it's also coming back up a little bit. And we're still mandated on Navajo Nation for social distancing, for the COVID protocols. I mean, we have to consider those as well as the building process on this side. That's my only concern. Thank you.
But I believe we could adequately meet those needs if the building is constructed with additions built into that, and not strain what monies are available now to be able to do that.
Yeah, I was just concerned because last time they were saying portables, and portables. I'm not really in favor of those for students.
It's not that they're not the best, of course, but they are adequate. My kids have gone. I mean, Kirtland Central High School over there has got numerous portables on the northeast end of that building, and they serve adequately.
Yeah.
And I know in Mr. Carlson's district, before his school was built, the whole thing was portable.
Portable city.
It was a village out there, but portable. So,
Yeah, and those were desirable portables, I'll say that. There's bathrooms right in there.
Yeah,
So.
those ones are the nice ones.
Let me go ahead and try to address what you're saying a little bit. One of the things to remember that we still can do, if we move forward with this and the numbers do change over the next couple of years, we can phase in a second phase where we could actually build rather than just have portables. So that is a possibility. If the students start coming, we will have that capability.
If I may, Mr.
Yes,
President, that's really the impetus. What I'm trying to say in respects to and asking the question about the additions. They can always be built with expansion in mind if it is needed. And again, those portables would only be there for the interim while those additional classes were built. But as it is at this point in time, the reality is that one, we're in a position that even though we do get impact aid funding, we have to be cognizant and aware of our economic circumstance in this county and the very real possibility of these mines shutting down, and whatever's going to make it up is going to be in those solar plants, which is minuscule for returning an investment to ad valorem for the taxes to this district. We sat here and we talked to an individual, and I asked him a rhetorical question about how many jobs were going to be at the end of the day when they opened up those solar farms. It was less than 10. So you're talking going from less than 10 employees to service jobs included into the power plant, excess of 750 jobs. And that's loss of revenue for this district that impacts it, and the families leave, the kids leave. So it impacts everybody, and that's just my concern in respects to we have to be judicious on how we do this. But certainly, if the opportunity presents itself for growth further down the road, then certainly they will be adequate to be able to add on to it, just like with any other place when they're building junior house. And I remember because I had to work on those things and service them while they set it up, while they did the construction. So it's all doable. It's all doable.
So, okay, so like help me understand this more clearly. Okay, so if this option 3 is 12 million. And then option 2 is 10, and then obviously option 1 is lower. And if the need comes with student counts go up, how much more money is it going to cost to add or to make those accommodations then as it would now? Am I explaining it right?
You are.
Okay, so
You are.
explain that part to me so that I understand it and I see it, how you guys are seeing it. Well, I mean, I know you guys are looking at the reimbursements from the plan and all of that, but what's the difference between the 12 million now, then later having to rebuild or get a new contractor and then build that extra if the need comes to it for student count, if I'm making sense?
You are making sense. I think that justification will only come if the need arises.
Mhm.
If the student count goes up sufficient, will it cost more? Likely.
Mhm.
But we will know better how much money we have, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because right now we don't know what we're going to lose from the shutdown of the power plants, nor do we know actually how much money we're going to get from impact aid.
Then my next question, Mr. Carlson, is just correct me because it was a while back.
Okay.
So if we don't have the 6 classrooms,
Mhm.
the dual language program won't happen,
No, that's not true.
or
We
it,
can-
it will still go on with the smaller classroom.
Yeah, and so.
With a smaller number of classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it will still go on.
Yeah, and at the very beginning of when the dual language starts, there only needs to be 2 classrooms, and there's 2 extra classrooms as it is right now, and all the rest of the classrooms should not be above capacity based
Mhm.
on the numbers they have.
Mhm.
But again, if between now and the time it's built, the numbers go back up to where they're suggesting it could be, that's when we can have further conversations about, you know what, it looks like the numbers are going back up, and we can all cheer, and we'll get more money from the state for the extra kids.
Okay, see, so right there is where I was wanting to hear. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll get extra funding if in that time the enrollment goes up, so then we could probably, like you guys are saying, build more or add on to that at that time. That's what I just want.
Create a second phase. Yes,
If the construction that we're planning on building if it's built with an addition in mind to begin with, it's a whole lot less expensive than just adding a whole new section on a building that's not built to that specification.
Okay, I'd like to hear from Miss Suzette, if she's still there.
She's got her hand raised. So.
Yeah, I'd like to hear.
Okay. Is that okay, President Wells?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. In terms of the funding, how much do we have? Has that been shared? I haven't heard from our business department the list of itemized expenditures and how much we've got from impact aid or other funds to date in regards to this. That's the first thing. And then the second is I'm pretty sure that there is the curriculum already for the dual language program at this time. And from my understanding, the principal is already going to not just do first and second grade, but do full immersion for the students from K to 6 or to 6th grade. Am I mistaken on that? Because I'm pretty sure that was the information I had. And then on your other point, I think there was a news story. It's all over the internet right now too. That if there isn't that awareness, there's definitely going to be an awareness, because there was an actual news story that was done on KOB4 regarding our immersion program, which indicates, or they say that the program's gonna expand to other schools. So I guess I understand the side of caution, but if you want to invest in something, just like we're investing in our employees, investing in the area, you have to invest in it, not just say you're going to invest in these programs, but you have to invest in it. And I understand the concern, but and we have TBA. Yes, we have TBA coming up when we haven't even done the land lease. So that's not even done yet. I haven't even gotten any information in regards to from DOJ or anything else in regards to the LFC, all those concerns either. So those things are still also hanging in the balance. So my recommendation, and I continue to stand with my community and with the kids, is that if we want to really do something for our community in terms of language, culture, and all that, then this is the time to do it, and this is the avenue to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Haskell. We've had a hand up for, the reason Dr. Lopez has her hand up is because she can answer the second portion of Ms. Haskell's question probably much better than I could, because she is the director of the ICO. And so, Dr. Lopez.
Yes, good evening, President Wells, members of the board, and Superintendent Carlson. Secretary Haspes asked a question about full implementation on a dual language program. Any dual language program, we always have to start with kindergarten and first. And so therefore that classroom, as you had explained earlier, we have condensed those with K1 because the standards and the curriculum that we're teaching them that's in alignment with the pacing guides of the district and the Navajo Nation are the same. So that classroom is combined K1 as it is in Notch Chitty and as it is in Eva B. Stokely. Eva B. Stokely has kindergarten, first and second that are combined simply because of the number of students that we have in those classrooms. So we don't begin a full-blown implementation of a dual language program because the majority of our students right now are not proficient and when we start a model of the dual language program, which is a 90-10 model, we go from 90% on Dene to 10% English, and then second grade, then we go to a 20% English and an 80% in Dene. So students have to be really proficient in that. And as far as the curriculum that we're going with right now, we're still working on that curriculum in the summer. Dr. Begay has teachers that are coming in and we're working on that curriculum. And what we're doing is we're tying in and bridging the district pacing guides and bridging that into the Navajo Nation pacing guides so that we can form that curriculum. But as far as it being a full-blown curriculum to do the 90-10, that is not complete yet as we're working that for the summer. And we have a lot of teachers that are coming in. We continue to try to get students and parents to come into the dual language program. We still have very low numbers. As a matter of fact, Notch Chitty, when we first opened the program, we had 16 interested parents. When we opened up the program K1, we're down to 5.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Dr. Lopez, but board president, can we request to have Principal Gleason on? I just want to get the information that I thought I had heard from him. So if could I hear from the Principal Gleason in regards to this? Can we get him to address this? What his plans were? Thank you.
Yes, I think we could. We need to contact him. How do we do that?
So Superintendent, would you like me to cease until you get Mr. Gleason?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Does Ms. Haskey have another question? Another.
Oh, sorry. I meant to lower my hand. So sorry about that.
Your
Thank
arm's
you for that.
gonna get tired, Suzette.
I have one strong arm since I was raising my hand. The other is the same. Thank you.
Are you feeling under the weather? You sound like
I am not as I guess how I would want to be. I have allergies, really bad allergies. Thank you.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, the wind just needs to stop for a few days, and then I think my allergies and everything will calm down.
Are we calling the principal?
I just sent him board president, I just sent him a link to the Zoom meeting. Contact, I don't have Mr. Gleason's number. I'm contacting Sharon.
He is going to come on. It looks like.
Is he getting on? Did you say intern superintendent?
Yes, it seems like he will be here in just a second.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
He just,
And President Wells,
you know,
I'm going to bring your cape on Tuesday.
You're going to bring what?
Your cape. Your cape.
Oh, cake.
Yes.
Well, I've got your carrot cake sitting here. Where are you?
Did you really bring it?
Absolutely. I told you I would.
Oh my gosh. Of all the days that I have to be affected with allergies. Sorry. What an inconvenience. Sorry about that.
Okay,
We probably need to wait.
Are you set up yet for you can go?
we got 3. Mr. Gleason? Mr.
Mr. Gleason is online or Zoom. He's on mute.
Mr. Gleason, go ahead.
Are you set up yet for you go? You got 3.
Mr. Gleason?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Miss Haskey had
Sarah Gleason is online on Zoom. Is on.
Go ahead. Had a concern? Go ahead.
Mr. Gleason, I was just wanting clarification in regards to the plan that you had to implement the immersion program and share some information about the curriculum. Thank you.
It's someone's over talking every. There's people over talking to each other, so I can't really hear.
Yeah, we can't either. I don't know who that was.
Were you able to hear me, Mr. Gleason? I don't know what I did hear the voices. I don't know who it was. But Mr. Gleason, were you able to hear my question?
Mr. Gleason, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, Vice President Hosky.
Can you hear me, Mr. Gleason? I don't know what I did hear the voices. I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I could just hear someone over talking to each other.
Oh, that was able to hear my question. That's me, an older recording. Do you have that open like from the YouTube or something open on your computer? Because I think you might have that. That's me, an older recording. Do you have that open like from the YouTube or something open on your computer? Because I think you might have that.
What? Mr. Gleason's feedback on this. On different computer or just some of the speakers interfering with microphones.
Mr. Gleason, can you turn off your YouTube channel?
Can you hear me now?
Njone?
Okay.
I don't hear feedback. Were you able to hear my question?
About a little bit, bits and pieces of it.
My question was I wanted clarification in regards to your plan on immersion, the immersion program, how you plan to implement it, and the curriculum.
Okay.
If from my understanding, I thought you had it, but Dr. Lopez indicated that that was something that was going to be worked on, but I thought that there was already a curriculum that was in place. Thank you.
Okay. From the last meeting, I believe I informed all that I plan to implement the immersion program to all grade levels, starting with K first as a 90-10 model, because the second, third, and fourth and fifth graders, there's more interest in that group, that age or grade level. And since there's more interest in that grade level, I was thinking about doing a 50-50, as I said during that special board meeting. And that was the plan I want to go with, since there's more interest in the higher grade level than the lower grade level. So, and that's been my plan. And I did meet with Heritage during one of our principals meeting in Shiprock. So I shared my vision and my plan with them. And that's when I found out that there was a 50-50 curriculum with CCSD that EVA-B is utilizing. So from what I hear, that they're also have a 90-10 that curriculum that they're working on. So, but not fully developed yet. So that is the plan I'm looking for. And we are at the very beginning stage of, implementing or getting an immersion going.
So, Mr. Gleason, with the survey that you had, the numbers were for the third. Where will those third, fourth, and fifth graders be in the school year 2024, 2025?
2024. Some probably will be at the middle school. Some will be fifth graders, maybe.
Okay, and I believe the fourth graders would be sixth graders at that point in time.
Yeah.
And so would you talk about trying to implement a 50-50 model with the sixth graders then? Or
by that time, the sixth graders will be at the middle school.
So then the only group of those higher numbers that will still be in your school are the third graders. So,
yes.
So the ones, the people who gave the survey for the kindergarten and the first grade, those really low numbers, those are the ones that will still be at your school. And they'll be in the second, third, fourth, and fifth grade and unable to avail themselves of the immersion program because you won't be able to start with the 50-50. You'll have to, that comes down the road. Is that correct?
I want to start off with 50-50 with the higher grade level, but I want to start the true immersion with the kindergarten and first grade.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Mr. Gleason, when was the surveys did you say the surveys had been completed like a year ago or something?
No, we did the survey back in February.
February, okay. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Lopez,
Yes, sir. Do I have permission to add to that?
you can, yes, please.
Okay. I just had a conversation with my coordinator and asked her if there had been a discussion on this. The district no longer have the 50-50 model. That used to be a model that was implemented at Eva B. Stokely. We transitioned from a 50-50 model as a district to a 90-10 model. Ideally, a dual language program begins individually by grade level. So it would begin at kindergarten. So because we had some students that had the language and then also at Eva B that had the language, that's why we combined it to a kindergarten and first grade. The curriculum that Mr. Gleason is talking about is the curriculum that was used in the 50-50 model. And that mainly comprised of the standards that come from the Navajo Nation. We, as in our conversations, looked at the pacing guides and are looking at, because our dual language teachers need to be certified by the state. They're not 520 licensure teachers. They're licensed by the state. They will be following and delivering the core content standards that the students are going to be tested on. So that's why this summer we're working on the curriculum to align it with the 90-10 model so that our children can be taught the core content in their home language. And so we need to build the curriculum where it addresses all those components within the timeframes. So for the curriculum that Mr. Gleason is confused on, that is the 50-50 model that the district no longer uses. We have not had a conversation with the superintendent or Mr. Gleason or my department to look at changing the 90-10 model that was implemented. But that's where I guess the confusion is. on the curriculum. So obviously, he was looking at the 50-50 model curriculum. But what we have adopted as a district and have sent out information on and have to the community at Eva B. Stokely, at Notch City, and also at Newcomb when it was first sent out, was the 90-10 model.
Dr. Lopez, do you know why we adopted the 90-10 model?
That we adopted the 90-10 model when Mr. Benavides came on board, and we looked at some of the the gaps that we had, and we looked at what are our students, if could some of these students benefit from learning from their home language and benefit from with the teachers that could deliver that core content on that through their home language. And so he brought some history with that, some data, and we looked at it, and so that's why we transitioned to the 90-10 model. And also because we also had some shortage of staff, we were finding it difficult to fill in a lot of those positions and positions in the core content areas also. And some of our teachers that are teaching Diné right now and doing our dual language program at Eva B. Stokely are very talented, very, very good teachers at what they're doing now. They are learning now how to implement that 90-10 model. And I think that they're doing very well. In fact, I think Miss Bitta was observed at Notch City, and she got an overwhelming response to the way that she was delivering the core content in the Diné language over there.
Mr. Montoya.
Dr. Lopez,
Yes, sir.
what's the student count in that participation at Eva B. Stokely?
Right now at Eva B. Stokely, we have one class that has kindergarten first and second, and we have a total of 7 students. We have a third grade with 6 students, and then a third and fourth grade combination with 6 students, and then we have the 5th grade with 6 students at Eva B. Stokely. And at Notch City, we have 5 students.
Thank you.
President Wells, can I make a comment? I'm not sure if everybody has access to Facebook, but the story on there, the story from Eva B. Stokely, I think it's Eva B. Stokely, that's on there, that is generating your free press in regards to the immersion program, is something that everybody should look at, because they did in the news report or the story that this was going to be a district wide, something that they wanted to implement at other schools. I want to that's the information that I saw that was on Facebook today, and I have it on my Facebook page. Whoever is on there, but it was an article that came out, or a story that came out. I'm not sure when it was aired originally, but it was aired. But I would suggest that everybody watch it, and if that's the story that we're putting out there, I just want to be I want everybody to be cognizant of that that's our free publicity for this program to be implemented across the district in different schools, and that's what we should also be doing. I mean, it got a lot of positive comments in regards to it. Thank you.
President.
Yes.
So My question is, the 50-50. I know that we switched from 50-50 when Mr. Benavides was here. And what would be, besides you, it was mentioned that the standards from Navajo Nation, that's why we went to the 90-10 standards, but Navajo Nation standards are through DOTI. And those are still relevant standards. So I don't know why we're pushing away from Navajo Nation standards when it applies culturally relevant, and that's our tradition, that's our culture. And so I don't understand that remark right there. And then our 520 license teachers, you know, if they haven't renewed their license yet, you know, we're kind of it doesn't make sense to me that we have, you know, that we can't get this full immersion classroom started like Mr. Gleason has stated. I think we need to go back and look at that 50-50 along with the 90-10, because I know 90-10 is coming probably most likely from the state side, but we also need to keep with Navajo Nation and DOTI and all of that, because it's culturally relevant. And, you know, I'd like to hear from Dr. Berlinda Begay and the rest of the team who are who really practice this. It all goes back to tradition, culture, and relevancy. And so that's what I really want to stick to. And I'd like to get a report for all the funding that that we're using for this. I mean, Title I, JOM, Impact Aid, those are all for these programs that this immersion, that cultural immersion that's trying to get started here. And I agree with Ms. Haskey, Vice President Haskey. I've seen the thing on Facebook as well. And that is what they're promoting on that.
With your permission, President Wells, Member George, and Interim Superintendent Carlson, just in reference to what was on Facebook, I did ask Berlinda about that, and that was something that she said she believed was filmed, or was they were interviewed about 3 or 4 years ago. She couldn't remember the exact date.
It was
So
in
that,
July of 2017. And I was just going to state that too. I don't mean to interrupt you, but that was the clarification I was going to make. But I do have a comment afterwards.
May I finish, please? Thank you. So she did state that, and so we have fulfilled that expansion by building on to Notch City. As far as pulling away from the Navajo curriculum in DOTI, we're not pulling away from that curriculum. We're still implementing a lot of that within our classroom, because you're correct. That's part of our language. That's part of the culture. That's part of who the students are. So we're not pulling away, and we're not doing away with that curriculum. What we're simply doing is kind of marrying both that curriculum and also marrying the district pacing guides for the core content standards. But you're asking to visit with Berlinda. I'd be more than happy to schedule a meeting with Berlinda. Right now, she's at her son's track meet, but I'd be more than happy to schedule a meeting if you'd like to discuss that further. But we just please rest assured that we would not be pulling away from that curriculum, because it does contain the language and the culture. And I come from a Spanish background, and I know how important that is. So we're just marrying, both of them.
Thank you, Dr. Lopez.
Can I make a couple of comments, President Wells?
Yes, you may.
I apologize to Dr. Lopez for interrupting you. I didn't mean to do that, but and you brought up the whole date thing, but in terms of what is going around, I think it is our responsibility, especially to our community, that we do this. We do the immersion program, and I continue to support my community in terms of what they want. I think that it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President
Thank
Haskell. Can I just go back to one thing real quick? I did have a look at the survey numbers, and I don't know if you've all seen those from the numbers from kindergarten and first grade. I mean, they are the current kindergarten and first graders. If we look at those numbers and the numbers remain as low as they are moving on to the next grades, if we did have the interest that are, I know these numbers are not going to jive exactly, but the interest from the surveys for third, fourth, fifth that Herman references, if we had those kind of numbers of interest, pull those numbers out of the numbers that are projected for the kindergarten, first, second graders. If we take those numbers out of there, I don't remember the exact numbers, we're going to have a single digit left that are not in the language revitalization program and immersion program. In some cases, I think there was going to be 3 or 4 students, according to those surveys that I read, who are going to be left, who are not in those programs. We could utilize the regular classrooms for the language revitalization program, because we're only going to have maybe 4 kindergartners, 3 first graders, a couple second graders. We could combine kindergarten, first and second grade in those classes that are left.
Can I ask a question, President Wells?
Yes, you may.
In terms of the survey, how were these surveys shared? In person, online, by mail, phone calls? How were they disseminated?
She was asking you?
Whoever knows the answer.
Knows the answer. I don't.
So the principal, right?
Yeah, Mr. Gleason,
I can answer. I can answer.
Sure.
We did online, and majority of the online we didn't get a good response, so we did a printout, and we sent it to the students, or sent the survey home with the students, and that's how we end up getting it back, and we input them into the Google form to generate that survey. So.
In your surveys, Mr. Gleason, what was the percentage you received back in regards to the overall total?
We got 93 back out of 145 that we issued out. So yes, and then we didn't count the current 5th grade students right now, because they'll be at the middle school tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, next year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What further questions or comments do we have?
Ms. Thompson?
Board President, board members, interim superintendent, Mr. Carlson. So tonight, I would ask the board to try to come to a decision on whether we go with our original above adequacy, option A, so we can continue design. If we table this again, we will again cancel our Wednesday design meeting until we have direction on what the board would like us to move forward on.
don't think this meeting is designed for. I think the next meeting is supposed to be designed to make that determination. Is that all right?
I can't understand you.
This meeting is not designed.
No, you're not making any decisions tonight. It's just providing a
This
report.
is just a report. So
She's talking about Tuesday.
yeah. Did you understand that, Ms. Thompson?
Yes, Board President, I did. I was just letting you guys know that either way, come Tuesday,
Okay.
what's the board's pleasure on this elementary school?
Okay, thank you. Are there any other?
Also, Board President, is there any more information that would be helpful that I could provide to the board? I did send the ed spec out for the new board members to read and review. We do have the survey that Mr. Gleason sent to the team and PSFA if those survey numbers are something that the board would like to look at and review those. If so, we can do that. Also keep in mind, as we push this out, the date of the opening of the school will also push out with a 14-month construction period, if all goes well. If not, you could be possibly looking at the third graders being possibly sixth graders coming into this new school. If that is something that you would like to look at in the survey that Mr. Gleason sent out, so you can exactly see those numbers. Also keep in mind that we are designing this school for 227 students, and his current enrollment per his survey, I believe, is 162. Is that correct, Mr. Gleason?
It's 172.
172? I apologize, 172. So if my department can provide you any more information, I'm happy to do so.
The survey is 172.
It's being designed for
It's
227.
designed for 227.
Technically speaking, you're getting 2 extra rooms for the population that you currently have. Go by 25 students per classroom.
Okay. Do we have any more comments or any more discussions or need any more information? Ms. Askey?
I don't have any questions at this time. Thank you.
Ms. George?
No.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Board President. Thank you, board members.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson.
Which one of these are you supposed to answer?
Me.
Okay. You're on at 6:55.
Yes, may I comment?
You may.
Okay, on that, I really didn't hear, I've been listening, but I really didn't hear if we, as far as the financial part of it, if we have that money. I heard Ms. Paxton ask about itemized, and that's something I've been asking for months. What are we spending in that aid? A lot of the funds that came in for COVID, we still have not seen anything of what my expectations of itemizing things. So we really need to know if we have money for that and then go from there. And also, I really appreciate Husky asking for the principal, Gleason's, his vision on the school and how that's gonna go for the community.
Yes, we appreciate Mr. Gleason coming on. Thank you for the input on that. As far as your question, Ms. Aspis? Hello. Hello.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
Okay.
So I understand Candace is asking for additional information needed for Tuesday. So that's something I like I said, I don't know if it was covered, and maybe I missed it, but I'd like to hear that Tuesday.
You'd like to hear that on Tuesday? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If we have the finances for that additional.
Did you hear that, Ms. Thompson?
He's the one to get the answer from Mr. Yazzie.
Yeah, I can see what the money that's been spent. However, part of the answer to that question was already given in terms of the future, I guess, murkiness brought on by the closure of the power plant and the mines, and just the fact that we really, everything is conjecture at this point. We can go ahead and say we might have this much left. But I can ask Mr. Yazzie for Tuesday's meeting, just to have a listing of kind of what we think we're going to have for the coming year and years.
What the projection is?
Projection, yes, sir.
Well, that meets your.
President Wells, can I ask a question?
You can, yes.
For clarification, was it there was 2 stacks that were closing, correct?
Was it just 2? I thought the whole plant was shutting down come September.
I thought it was 2 stacks that were closing in September. Can we get the clarification on I guess now get clarification on what's closing?
Okay.
Thank you.
Board President
Yes.
and board members, in response to Vice President Husky's request, I'm more than happy to give more information on that on Tuesday's meeting. I can also do that here, but probably would be best to make sure we have that on the agenda.
Thank you. Yes, we need to have it on the agenda. And if you want to provide that for that meeting, that would be appreciated.
Yes, sir. Happy to.
Is there any further discussion on this issue at this time?
None for me, thank you.
Ms. Aspis?
Yes, we've had discussions. I've been part of discussions before in the past, and concerning projects especially a new school, we usually have the financial director and, just update it or, to give us that financial part, that report on that part. And I find it funny that we don't have that. And yet we're speaking to maintenance instead. I would like that person to be there on Tuesday, the finance director.
We will make that request. Okay. Ms. Haskey?
I didn't have any more additional questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Montoya? Ms. George? Ms. Aspas, anything else?
No, thank you.
We will move on to item H. PCSD part-time employee resolution by Ms. Trocek.
Trocek. Good evening.
I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. Good evening, Board President, Vice President Haskey, Secretary George, board members, interim superintendent. I'm here to request that the school board consider requesting authorization from New Mexico Public Insurance Authority for our part-time employees to be eligible for benefits. So just a little background, this is the 10th year that the school board would be requesting this from NMSIA for them to approve it. Once it's authorized and signed by the school board of CCSD, then it is sent to NMSIA, who they review it and approve it at their board meeting. So this will be the 10th year that we request it. We have, how it works is that we have 48 employees that have average weekly hours less than 20 hours per week, but more than 15 hours per week. And normally they wouldn't qualify for benefits. So this resolution allows them to have the opportunity to get medical, vision, and dental. Out of the 48 people that are in this category, most of them are taking the dental and vision, but we do have 6 people that are taking the medical. And then we have about 16 people of that group that are not participating. So that is the purpose of bringing this before you this evening. Do you have any questions?
Probably. This is we'll be making this available to more, to all, to enlighten me here. Okay.
So this is in order to provide part-time employees. Part-time employees we generally don't have, but those are categorized by NMSIA as those employees that are working under 20 hours a week, but more than 15 hours a week. Normally, for a full-time employee to qualify for our benefits, they have to work 20 hours or more a week.
Okay, I understand all of that.
Okay.
What we're going to be providing is them an opportunity to participate. Is that right?
Yes, in medical benefits, vision, and dental benefits.
At the regular,
Yes.
all
At
of
the,
it.
yep, the regular rates that everybody else participates in.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Aspas.
Okay, how did this come about? Is this from legislation, or how did this come about?
This is this is something that the New Mexico Public Insurance Authority provides for all school districts in the state of New Mexico. And it was, the school board adopted it for the first time in 2013. And so it is something that the NMSIA allows school districts to request from them, so that those employees are the bus drivers, the bus aides, and a couple cooks that have hours within this category. Normally they wouldn't get to participate in benefits. So this helps them do that, helps the employee be able to share in the opportunity to do that. So it means that CCSD contributes to those benefits
But
as well.
At the same percentage of all other employees, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. But there's only 48 people that fall in this category currently, per our data.
Okay.
So, Ms. Trocek, what you're telling us is this is a continuation of a program that has been in place since 2013. And
Yes.
it's being reauthorized by the board to sign off on it to continue it, correct?
Yes.
And next year, you're going to have to come back and do it again, correct?
Yes.
Continuation, thank you.
Every April. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Trocek, yes, I when I got onto the board, and I didn't know that it was that long ago, but I was just wondering if there was anything additional, things like being an election time, that, you know, a lot of things are going around to, as far as teacher raises and things like that. So, you know, that's why I asked for the background or the history of this. So, thank you.
Ms. George, you have a comment?
No, sir.
Ms. Haskey, any comment? Is she gone?
No, I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Ms. Trocek. I'll work at that until I can get it.
Yeah. Thank you, President Wells,
Well,
and school board.
we'll move on to Mr. Yazzie, procurement over $60,000.
Good evening, Board President, members of the board, Interim Superintendent Carlson. My name is Dominic Garcia. I'd like to introduce myself. I work for the Finance Department. I am the grant specialist, and I am here to present on behalf of the Finance Director, Donovan Yazzie, as he is not able to make it today. To continue with item I, purchase orders exceeding 60K. There are 8 in total in the month of March. The first one is the CES vendor for construction in the amount of $138,913.32. Second is Roberts Truck Center for transportation. That amount is $509,692. School specialty, it'll be for warehouse. That'll be an amount of $481,745.24. Paula Supply Company, that's for warehouse, $89,532. Hone Company, warehouse again, $341,384.03. CES for maintenance, $348,908.88. Cooperative Education Services again, CES construction, that amount will be for $1,533,871.83. The last one is the educational products for warehouse, $167,526.79. And that's it for the purchase orders exceeding $60K. I stand for any questions.
Mr. Wells stepped out, so he asked me to continue the meeting. This is Secretary George. Ms. Haskey, do you have any comments, questions?
No, I don't have any questions yet. Thank you.
Ms. Aspis?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I was just wondering if those gates were made of gold, $1.5 million.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all.
And myself, I don't have any. I don't have any questions.
Okay. Would you like me to continue with?
Yes, go ahead and continue, Mr. Atsudi.
Okay, thank you. Continuing with item J, accounts payables, disbursement listings, outstanding check listings, expenditure reports, revenue reports. To start with the operational distribution list. In the month of March, $5,197,353. For the activities will be $26,283.97. Onto the outstanding check listing. Operational. That'll be $1,157,794.34. Outstanding check listing for activities, that amount is $5,345.06. Onto the expenditures now for the general funds. That amount will be $3,279,679.20. For the grants, the expenditures for that, $2,490,323.44.
Mr. Atsudi?
Yes.
For President Mayor. I have a question on JOM. Can we get a printout, or not a printout, but a report on how the JOM money's been spent?
Okay, I believe there was a report that I'll present.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, I'll continue with the expenditures for capital outlay. The expenditures for capital outlay is $5,920,225.06. And onto the revenue reports now. For the general funds, $5,935,926.87. The revenues for grants will be $3,652,368.37. The revenue for capital outlay will be $89,631.36. And onto the JOM, I'm not sure if you got, okay, yep, here it is. Rent for the month of March. $58,306.67. I stand for questions.
Board President.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Exidy, if you can, on the JOM, how much of the professional development money do we still have available for our language and heritage teachers?
I don't have the answer for you right now, but I could look into it. Professional development for the heritage teachers?
Heritage and language teachers, especially the teachers with the 520 license.
I'm sorry, Secretary, Board Secretary, can you repeat that again? Heritage teachers and
The language teachers as well, and the 520 licensure teachers. I guess that would be heritage.
okay. I could provide that report for you.
Okay, and then also the consultant part of this, I'd like to see the balance on that and a report on who we've used as consultants and who we paid for consultants. Please.
Is consultants or lobbyists, Cheryl?
Both. I both. I didn't think about the lobbyists. Yeah. Thank you.
Board President, Vice President Haskey, Secretary George, and members of the board, Interim Superintendent, I'll be sure to get that report for you for the professional development consultants.
Thank you.
Are we still on I?
Yes. Yes.
No.
Oh, we're on J. Yeah, we're on J.
Okay.
He's going through those.
Okay, sorry, can I continue? Or may I continue?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
On to item K, budget adjustments and journal entries. The first budget adjustment will be for Ideal B, which is Fund 24106. And this will be an increase bar in the amount of $544,551. And this is the final subaward carryover and other additional distributions.
I've been saying that for quite some time.
I apologize. Can you hang on just a minute? Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, I didn't know if, that's why I just hung up and called back.
Go ahead.
Okay, he had read off the outstanding checks. Hello, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear
Hello?
that?
We can hear you.
Hang on.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the outstanding checks, is there any that's really overdue than normal?
Board member Aspis, you're asking if there's any overdue outstanding checks?
Yes, if it passed.
Other,
Excuse me. Go ahead.
I guess, you know, though, I know that some take some time, but every once in a while we get one of those that it's longer than usual. That's what I'm asking, is do we have anything like that?
Board President, members of the board, Superintendent, if you could just give me some time to look into that for you, and I'll get back to you with that, the answer.
Okay, and then as you read off the revenue part of it, also, did you, can you state that balance for ad valorem and also the impact aid, if we got any?
Okay, for the revenue for capital outlay, for the ad valorem taxes, the schools,
Yes.
that'll be on $68,618.78.
Did you hear that, Ms. Asmus?
That was for the impact aid?
Oh, no, that's for the ad valorem taxes.
Okay.
And for the impact aid, I'm not sure I got that information. I just know that I was getting information that they're going to be releasing the funds to us here soon. I'm not sure when, but it should be coming here soon.
Okay.
Ms. Aspis? Ms. Aspis?
Yes.
It's not listed on there, just for clarification, that's all.
Oh, yeah, I just, I know it comes in spurts and here and there, so I was just wondering if anything came in and if he had that balance.
Yeah, I was looking for that as well, and it wasn't up there.
Okay, what about the other one that runs Bond Wilson? Carl
Perkins grant.
The Carl Perkins grant, board member Aspis, we received $48,426.62. Will be fund 24174.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Mr. at City, sorry. Can you go back to that and so we can look at the IHS grant to see how much is left on that? Please.
Hey Sharon, the IHS grant should be under the grants report.
Would that be revenue or the expenditures?
Secretary George, would you want the revenue or the expenditures of what's been spent or what we received back?
What's been spent, expenditures, please.
The fund for that will be 27156 or 27168, I believe.
I'm sorry, what number again?
27168.
168. It's not there.
It's not there. Is there any information that you are needing for the IHS?
I just wanted to see what it's been spent on and how much is left of it.
Okay. If you don't mind me, just take my time to go look up the report real quick for you.
Sure.
I just see it on the revenues. Grant.
I don't know if I can be ready.
Yeah, well, they're virtual. No, I think it was virtual. This year they're having it actual.
In person. Is it the one we go out? Because you can't take buses.
Yeah, I think so. But I think I missed the last meeting, but I think that they may have gotten that covered.
Okay.
I think.
Great.
Yeah, so that's why
I would do relay.
yeah, give us some team. Oh, I can't
Just 5 miles.
I can walk it.
Actually, I think the last time we did relay, we were going to do it with coach.
Yeah.
Instead of 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 2.
Yeah.
I think everyone was doing 10K. So it was more than it's just that way it's the same because everybody just go out and back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just changing my diet pretty fast. Does it show 2768 on this one?
I don't.
Is it like with the Christmas or is it 16?
I can't really get. It's kind of small for me. I'm way over here, even with my contacts on.
It's 2716. It's like fun after school.
Oh, man, let's see.
Secretary George, President Wells.
Go ahead.
For the IHS grant, are you looking for the whole year or just for the month of March?
I guess just current, I guess.
Okay. Board President, members of the board, Superintendent, thank you for your patience. From what I see right here, right now the total for the whole year, $29,121.44 has been spent in the IHS grant. And from what I see, salaries and benefits have been paid out of there. A little bit of professional development and general supplies and materials.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Grant City.
You're welcome.
Continue.
That's the last one, Dominic.
Okay.
There's only one.
Yeah, just that's the bars, right? Okay. And on to the journal entries. Total there has been 566 entries, and the debits and credits, they equal out. It'll equal out to $6,839,703. Stand for questions for the budget adjustments or the journal entries.
Are there any questions from the board? Ms. Aspas?
No, thank you.
Ms. Haskey?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hatsidi. Appreciate that presentation.
You're welcome.
Item 5 for discussion. Number 8, items for the April 19, 22 regular school board to change the time and place of board meetings and work session.
Can I speak?
You may.
If all possible, if we could have that regular meeting in Kirtland and invite public, have that open board meeting.
And also the time to allow Ms. Haskey to make that trip. Also, I believe that if we met at a little later time, it would allow input from the general public.
5:30?
General public to have be able to make that session. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Aspas.
Well, I guess I would really throw it back to Ms. Haskey to what's reasonable for her.
I was going to do that. I was going to ask her, Ms. Haskey.
I think thank you for the opportunity to provide input. I think 5:30 or 6 would work. It would be preferable for me. Thank you. Especially if the location is to Kirtland, then I would appreciate that leeway. Thank you.
Any comments?
Is this where, just for clarification, is this where we're adding things for the next board, or are we just talking about this right here?
Right now, we're just talking about that.
Okay. I don't have any.
Is it just for that one meeting?
No, for your future board meetings.
Board President Wells, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would this start the next school year, or are we starting this like next month?
I had
like
thought
to start the next meeting,
I would.
Tuesday's meeting.
Okay, if we are going to do that, we probably need approval on Tuesday to start. Because we have to post it on the website.
We're just discussing at this session, so Tuesday would be a little early. We'd have to wait till the next Thursday meeting. Was that okay? Do you understand the necessity for that?
Can you repeat that? What did you say?
We're just discussing it now. We'd have to have it on the agenda to move it and vote on it in our next meeting. So the next meeting would be held. Tuesday meeting would be held here.
Okay, that's fine. And I would like from there on until Navajo Nation ends their
restrictions.
Yes, and then at least that gives us the opportunity to people that want to be at those board meetings to be present.
Thank you. My one concern about this is, if we make it to 5:30 or to 6 o'clock, indeed, we need to come, my thought was if we go through our budget reports and those kinds of things, if we have questions, if we utilize the board docs here, if we have questions, if we contact those individuals before the meeting so that it can flow and we can already have our questions answered, like for instance, Mr. Adsity and specifically because those seems to be where we have the most questions. What say you, Miss Askey?
I agree. Thank you.
Miss Asmus?
Yes, that, I don't have no problem with that.
Okay, Ms. George?
Yes, I agree. I agree to move it to Kirtland so that it's open to the public.
Okay. Mr. Montoya? Yes, go ahead, Ms. Aspen.
Okay, I think I spoke too fast here. I agree that, however, I hope that that doesn't prevent, because, you know, as people, as other board members, or myself, as other board members are forming their questions, or when they ask their questions, you know, that tips off something in my head that, you know, oh, okay, let me ask this. And so I don't want that prevented either. I mean, this is, we only meet, you know, 2 times a month, and it's for our benefit. And, but at the most part, yes, I do agree that we could be prepared and formulate those questions, but I hope that this doesn't prevent us from, you know, as we go along, you know, as someone else has another question that, and it's not used to where, well, you should have given us or asked that question before. I don't, that's not something I want to start. Thank you.
No, I agree. We don't want to shut down. I mean, we need to all be informed, and someone asking a question doesn't prevent someone else from sparking a.
And may I say some more here?
Yes, go ahead.
And that includes, you know, as we look at the agenda and formulate our questions, and what do we do when the presenter doesn't present or is not there? So it's, you know, that's.
Well, there's.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
There's going to be. There's going to be times. There's going to be questions. I understand that. I'm speaking more for myself. That if I have questions, I would contact the presenter or whatever and ask questions so that I could be better informed in coming here. I have not done that before, and I hope we could do that, shorten the time so that we're not midnight or 1 o'clock getting home.
To do that, you just want to put in the next day's date on the agenda.
The next day's date.
Run over to the next day.
Oh, I didn't follow that, I guess, but you mean in the minutes?
No, on your agenda, you have it for 1 day, which is today's date.
Okay. Yeah, we want to keep it to that. But this is to accommodate in-person participation, and especially Miss Haskey in her travels so that she can be better able to make it here on time.
Board President, I have a question. This is Sharon.
Yes, Sharon.
Okay, we do have a work session, regular school board meeting scheduled for the school year 21-22. And for the month for May and June, are we going to be alternating the locations? Like next month is going to be in Kirtland, and then, excuse me, and in June, is it going to be in Shiprock, or are they both going to be in Kirtland area?
I would have them in Kirtland until the Navajo Nation lists the ban so that we can have participation of our constituents.
Okay, thank you.
That's any other questions?
I'm sorry, another question. Is that both for the work session and the regular school board meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can I, board president, can I ask a question? Would we be able to just do the regular board meeting in person in Kirtland and have the work session in Shiprock?
I agree to that.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess that works for me. Mr. Montoya?
Are we voting and acting on anything, or are we just
No,
discussing?
we're just discussing.
It certainly sounds like people are voting or something, but it's just an open discussion. No comment.
Okay.
President Wells, members of the
Board
board.
President,
Yes, Ms. Haskey, Vice President Haskey.
Oh, that was Secretary, that was Board Member Aspis.
I mean, Aspis, I'm sorry.
yeah, I just want you to know I can't hear Mr. Montoya. I don't know what was said.
He abstained.
I was Ms. Aspis.
Yes.
I was just asking if we were acting on anything or voting on anything, because it sounded like we were voting on something and there was no action. It was just a discussion. That's all I was clarifying.
Oh no, we're not voting. But I do agree. I like the Taski's suggestion about having the work sessions in Shiprock and the regular meetings in Kirtland.
President Wills, members of the board, if I may ask Sharon a question. Sharon, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Sharon, I just want to make sure to clarify, when's the work session and regular school board meeting for next month on May?
It will be May 12th and May 17th.
Oh, I was just making sure just that graduation was around the corner there too, just to make sure that, I just want to make sure that we weren't in here.
Wouldn't conflict that.
I still can't hear.
Jared asked if the dates for the meetings in May, and his concern was that they did not interfere or conflict with the graduation dates.
No, they won't conflict with them.
Who was asking? That's I couldn't hear that.
Mr. Noble asked that question.
Okay.
And Ms. Ray said no, it would not conflict. Are there any other comments about those items? Any other discussion?
Board President.
Yes.
Items for regular school board meeting, or what I would like to see if we can get on the school board agenda is the 4 directions week, because the youth, they have nowhere to really participate for their youth programs, like for their like sports programs and stuff. And then if we can get a report for all the heritage teachers, Navajo language teachers, especially the teachers, the 520 license, who from each school, who's going for their professional development.
And you want this in a report, so you want this in a work session?
Yes, just yes.
Okay.
And then the school-based health center reports, probably from the middle school and high school, from August to April, to how many students they've serviced in the health office.
I'm going to ask you to
Okay.
give me that later, so I'm not
Oh,
writing
okay.
fast enough.
All right. And then I think there was a discrepancy for graduation for, is it the Shiprock High School and career prep? They're on the same day.
They are the same day, but there's enough time
In between.
One's in the afternoon and one's in the evening, I
Okay,
believe.
got it. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. That's it.
I looked that on the calendar for
Okay.
Sharon's office the other day.
Okay.
Speaking of that, can we get a copy of that calendar, Sharon's calendar with the graduations?
Yes, I can email that to you.
That would be great. Yeah, we're looking at your calendar.
Okay, thank you.
It was on, I printed it out when I first come on the board, so it was on. I don't remember where I got it now, but yes, Miss Asmus.
Yes, where are we at on the agenda? Are we on reports or?
We are on the adjournment.
Okay, are you requesting from board members what they want on the regular meeting?
Yes, that would
yes.
be
Okay, on that note, about their graduation, I'd like to, for Tuesday's meeting, I'd like for the calendar for next year. And if it's still tentative, then I want to hear what's on it, because this was sure a surprise. I'm very disappointed on how this graduation was set up. Very disappointed. That just shows, just get it done and get it out of here. That's how it speaks to me. So I want to look at the next year's calendar. And also, I would like for a regular meeting Tuesday on plans of renaming KBO Kirtland Business Office as a memorial to Mr. Randy Manning.
Ms. Asmus?
Yes.
I believe, and I don't think I'm misspeaking, but if I'm not mistaken, that was mentioned before to do that, but I don't think that was carried over the past.
No.
Yeah. Because it was brought up and that was made mention that we did say that. So thank you for reminding us that would certainly be an absolute very good consideration to do that on the next board meeting. Thank you.
Yes. And with that, perhaps notify the family to be present when we actually do it. But I think Tuesday's meeting is just a report and discussion on it.
Yeah, we would certainly invite the family or notify the family anyway.
Mm-hmm. And also, I would like a report on to really look at our what do you call it, organizational chart um, and looking at that again, the organization chart, I believe before it was our wishes as a board at that time wasn't recognized or acknowledged, and I would like to revisit that.
Mm-hmm.
Organizational chart.
Yes.
We'll have to educate me on what that is.
I think she's talking about the administration here,
Structure of the administration,
the coordinators, directors,
coordinators, interim superintendent. if
I
we need
thought
one.
maybe, but
President Wells,
yes, ma'am.
I also would like a report on all of our MOAs and our MOUs and what kind of agreements they are. And I also like to revisit the land lease information if there's been any updates in regards to from LFC or from the Navajo Nation or anything, any updates in regards to the land lease for TBO. And then I would also like a report on positions from HR, positions that the vacancy positions that have not been filled in the longest positions that have been advertised, and what positions they are and how long have they been advertised, and where are we at in terms of I guess our staffing currently, and what do we anticipate for next year? And then lastly, the process, the hiring process, in terms of the requirements and the Navajo Nation preference, if we have veteran preference, and that, how that works, just as a general report. Thank you.
Board President.
Yes, Ms. Asmus.
And I have one more additional request, and like to talk about the upcoming RES 2020 conference, and then also the state the importance of. I believe it's important, and to get our community to have knowledge of that, and also, I believe that our presence there the last time, it was kind of put in a negative way, with litigation, something that it was put in a negative way, but I believe that it's very important that we stay abreast of a conference such as that, and all the sessions. I believe we were even a part of one of the breakout sessions, and it was dealing with our closures and of the mining, the power plants, and so I think that what it offers, that conference, it's important, and I'd like that to be put on our agenda for Tuesday.
Ask a question.
Yes.
Ms. Asmus,
Yes,
What conference is that?
that Res 2020
Oh,
or
Res.
not 2020, 2022.
Okay.
Res, is that what?
Res. R-E-Z.
R-E-Z?
Where is that taking place?
Same place, Las Vegas, and
Oh, that's
it's,
right.
it's a little bit later in the month of May.
Okay.
And I think just to give our community and our constituents that presentation on what it deals with, and I believe our when we went the last time, we represented our district, and coal is such a dirty word now, and power plants is a dirty word, and so to be amongst the crowd like that, and to see that there's other tribes that are ramping up, and they're developing power plants. I think it's good for us to know, and to at least say that no, it's our power plants and our businesses here, they are important, and other tribes are going into those businesses as well, and it's totally not being outphased.
I concur.
And that takes place in May in
Las Vegas.
Vegas, huh?
It's about economic development across reservations and the impact.
Can we get information on that? I mean, I guess we can look it up. I'll look it up, but if somebody has that, if they could send it to me, that would be great. Thank you.
I believe if we could get Commissioner Pell to give us that presentation, I don't know if she's still on. If she'd be willing to do that.
I'm so sorry, I was pushing the wrong button. Absolutely, board members, I would be more than happy to provide the presentation that I developed and that we gave by both the mayor of Farmington and our superintendent at the time.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And is that for the next board meeting that you want me to do that?
Yes,
And it's actually perfect because I can give you updates as well.
thank you.
Mr. Carlson, can we have a copy of each department's expectations? Is that fair? A copy of each department's expectations to their staff under them?
Sure.
And then I don't know. Let me see. I'd like to see like an evaluation, not really a survey, but I don't know if evaluation is the right word that I'm looking for, but just to throw it out there, Mr. Carlson, by staff on their principles, on their leadership, school culture, safety within the schools, how they performed through the school year, how their communication was, because the staff are with the student, with the administrators, the principals, I don't know how many days they're with them in the school building, and they know, I think a lot with a lot of the issues that are going on staff wise with, dysfunction and not clear communication, all those things, bullying, and then staff who are not compliant both ways. I think that may solve a lot of the issues inside the schools if the staff who are there daily and interacting with the principals for them to do is kind of like an evaluation of their administrators, so that, you know, whatever critique is made, you could bring in professional development, you could bring in, you know, maybe Malou's CPI, you know, not really on the restraints, but just how to de-escalate situations so that it balances out in the school culture for the staff and the principals. I think that's because I've been getting a lot of complaints about still, you know, and concerns about the climate in the schools with some principals, not all of them, but some of them.
Sure.
And you know, I think those things could be made stronger with their leadership. If
Okay.
that was
So I appreciate that. The only issue I have with that is that there's a process for that.
Yeah.
And that's already something that is taking place with their supervisor and myself in an evaluation that really is not something that would go before the board because it's personnel.
No. Yeah, I wouldn't want it for the board because that's your staff and that's your that's not you're our only employee, but for it to just be addressed, and staff are really afraid. They don't want to be you know
voice an opinion.
Yeah, they want to voice their opinions on their concerns, their issues, and so if that part could just, you know, be with you and, you know, the admins, like you said, their supervisor and on down, I would really appreciate it, because we have to get some kind of you know, I just don't want to lose teachers. I don't want to lose good staff. And there's a lot of staff out there that are like, you know, I think this is my last year. I can't handle it. I'm just above my head right now. It's very, I mean, there's been some staff who said that they get they're sick and they used to enjoy coming to work and now they don't enjoy coming to work because of the environment in the school, and they just can't, you know, I understand the chain of command, but sometimes it stops there and it doesn't go anywhere. And so they're having to reach out in other ways. And I know that you had addressed some issues, and I thank you for that. And but I just don't want to lose our good employees, and our potential employees are going to come in. You know, they're going to go into the schools and see the climate and feel it, and they're going to be like, oh no, this is not for me. And we need those teachers. We need the additional staff. And we have a lot of teachers who have been teaching a lot of years. You know, some of them are within a couple of years of retirement, and they just want to get through to their retirement. But also, this is for a lot of our staff, most of our staff, this job is not a job. It's what they love. They love coming to work. They love servicing the students. They love servicing the parents. And so, but they can't if they're not happy. And that social, emotional, we have to take care of the staff and the teachers first, because if they burn out and if they're coming to work sick or emotional, you know, they're not servicing our kids 100%. You know, they're putting that persona on just to get through the day. And, you know, flying, they tell you when that mask comes down and you need oxygen, put it on yourself first before you tend to your kids or anybody else. And I think that's what we need to do with our teachers and our staff. So I would appreciate that process.
I agree. So we're working on social emotional needs of teachers and staff members. But we're also doing what we can, and I'm going to make sure this message gets out. I promise that we're going to have the message of recruitment, bringing in people. I've had conversations with different people about like foreign nationals who right now they're going to lose some of their visas. And so we want to make sure that we want to retain the folks that we can there. We want to grow our own as much as possible. So we're getting into programs for that. And we want to make sure that people understand we want to retain people. We want to build an environment and have incentives here in this district they don't have in some other places. I don't know if I should say this or not, but for instance, like this is something that's going to be coming out probably tomorrow morning. One of the things we've been looking into is paying some of the retirement, or not the retirement, the insurance fees the teachers and staff members have to pay, and to offset those costs, because everybody knows that when teachers and staff members, I'm sure Mr. Wells and Mr. Montoya can tell you this, and you from your own experience, that every time you get a raise, it seems like that raise is offset by your insurance goes up. So we have a grant that we've had some folks in finance and in HR helping out with that grant. Instead of having employees pay for 40%, that they would only pay 20%. And when that comes to pass, the families especially are going to see the biggest savings. And that's going to be something where people are going to say, hey, we want to go there. We want to stay in a place that does stuff like that for us. Because the other districts in the state aren't doing that.
For a short term or long term goal, just a suggestion. Okay. Is for retention is maybe utilizing some of the SR or the ARPA funds, maybe for teachers to, or anybody going to school, maybe to use it for their tuition, pay their tuition to keep them, retain them here. I mean, but I know that's a big chunk of cake there.
But yeah, we will look, I promise we'll look at all those things we can do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary George.
Can I make one comment too, Board President?
Yes, go ahead.
On the same line, I think I really support that if there's any way to do tuition reimbursement for even just a little bit, because I think it really shows that we're investing on our employees to help them, to retain them and help them, I guess, get better in their craft, specialize in their subjects, their specialties. I would really like to see how that, if there was a plan that we could look at to see if that would be doable too, because I know that talking to people, there's some people that are in their PhD programs and some that are starting their master's programs, and I know that it's being also having gone to school. I know that those costs really do add up, and if we can just offset it just by a little, that would be great, because I think that would speak volumes. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Haskey. Absolutely great suggestions. We do have one program where we have kind of a pipeline for educational assistants who want to become teachers, and that actually does do that and pays their tuition while they can continue to work. So there are things that we're working on along those lines, and all those aimed at bringing people in and keeping them.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Montoya.
A little past the point of no return of discussing things that weren't on the agenda, but just try to make sure we're not, because someone can turn around and say they're discussing these things that are not on the agenda.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
I second.
Hold on. I had one more.
Go ahead.
Board President. Yes, on Tuesday, I would like to executive session on the and to speak with our interim. If I may request that.
You want to have our executive, no, our interim?
Yes, an executive session to speak with our interim.
Board President, I need more clarification on that.
Ms. Aspas, can you be more specific? Concerning what item?
Yes, it's more, I would say the on his vision, his expectations.
So you want your evaluation?
No, I wouldn't say evaluation. It's more of just that, just the vision, the expectations.
Board President.
And I don't know if that's something that needs to be in the executive session, but as our only employee, that's why I asked for that.
Board President, I can clarify something on that.
Good.
In the past, Board President and board members, the board has sat down with the, whether it's interim or superintendent, to discuss expectations and vision. And that does fall under the personnel exemption because it is the personnel expectations.
Clarify that I didn't, there's too much legal in there.
I apologize, Board President. In the past, the board has had the opportunity to have confidential personnel conversation with the superintendent, whether it was interim or superintendent, to talk about expectations from the board to the superintendent, and vice versa, to be used, potentially later in evaluation. But that's why it's allowed for the personnel exemption under the Open Meetings Act. Now, a summary of that can also be provided in open session, but the dialogue of that is usually had in executive session first.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Also, to add to that, I am available for individual discussion with any board members. If you give me a call, and I'd be happy to discuss those types of things with you. Matter of fact, if you would like to discuss those things as we head out to a school of your choosing, we can do that as well. So, I mean, we can do it if you would like at the board meeting, or we can do it, one-on-one in those kind of situations as well.
I believe that needs to be taken care of by the full board, not just individually.
Noted. Are there any further comments? I make a motion. I will entertain a motion.
You had a motion
to adjourn.
Yeah.
Who had a second?
Ms. Haskey.
Oh, okay. Mr. Montoya.
Yes.
Ms. George.
Yes.
Ms. Haskey.
Yes.
Ms. Aspas. Christina. Did we lose her?
Okay.
What? How do you vote? Yay or nay to adjourn? Ms. Aspas.
There she is.
Christina.
Hello?
how about you, yay or nay to adjourn?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I keep hitting that stupid button.
And myself. Yes,
Okay. Thank you.
we stand adjourned.
Yes.
Now then.